At the edge of a quiet Florida aviation community stands a home unlike any other, where the backyard is not grass but runway and the horizon is shaped by movement. This is where John Travolta built a private world centered on control, privacy, and flight. Aircraft sit parked as naturally as cars, and daily routines unfold around departures and landings rather than traffic or crowds. The estate is not designed for display but for function, serving a man who has lived between ground and sky for decades. Beyond the gates, the property reflects disciplined wealth, shaped by intention rather than excess. Every detail supports a lifestyle built on independence, where motion is constant, but noise is minimal. This home is not an escape from the world, but a carefully engineered space where return and departure happen quietly, on his own terms. A childhood of contrast and influence. Long before private runways and global fame, John Travolta's story began in a modest New Jersey household shaped by contrast. Born on February 18, 1954, he was the youngest of 6 children in a family balancing creativity and responsibility. His mother, Helen Cecilia, had once performed as an actress and singer before choosing stability as a drama teacher. His father, Salvatore, transitioned from semi-professional football to running a tire business. From them, Travolta absorbed 2 lasting instincts: the desire to perform and the need to endure when applause fades. Creativity filled the home, but discipline governed survival. That balance shaped his early character, teaching him that passion alone was not enough without structure. These lessons quietly prepared him for a life where success would rise and fall, demanding both expression and resilience, leaving stability for uncertainty. At 17, John Travolta made a decision that reshaped his future. He left high school and moved to New York City, choosing uncertainty over comfort. With limited money and no safety net, he immersed himself in theater, learning through rejection, long rehearsals, and the pressure of live audiences. Broadway productions like Over Here and the touring version of Grease became his training ground, teaching discipline, timing, and emotional control. These years were not glamorous, but they were foundational. Performing live night after night sharpened his instincts and toughened his resolve. Eventually, he moved west to Los Angeles, carrying momentum rather than guarantees. Early film appearances, including Carrie in 1976, hinted at potential, while television made him familiar. Fame arrived soon after, but it was built on years of quiet endurance. Fame arrives too fast. The late 1970s transformed John Travolta into a cultural phenomenon almost overnight. Saturday Night Fever in 1977 captured a generation, earning him an Academy Award nomination at just 24. The film did more than succeed. It defined an era and turned Travolta into a global symbol. Grease followed in 1978, expanding his appeal and cementing his status as an international star. Money and attention arrived rapidly, allowing him to imagine a life beyond acting alone. Yet success came with pressure. Public expectation replaced privacy, and momentum left little room for pause. These years built the foundation of his wealth, but they also taught him how quickly admiration could turn. Fame gave him freedom, but it also planted the first seeds of restraint that would later guide his choices. When momentum slowed, the 1980s marked a difficult period of recalibration. Several films failed to connect, and critics became unforgiving. Projects like Staying Alive performed financially but damaged his reputation, shifting public perception. Travolta became an example of how early fame could outpace judgment. Yet these years were essential. Without constant success, he learned patience, humility, and control. He did not disappear from the industry, but he stopped chasing validation. Instead, he waited for opportunities that felt grounded. This restraint allowed him to preserve both his finances and his confidence. When the industry largely moved on, he focused on survival rather than attention. These quieter years refined his understanding of longevity and prepared him for a comeback built on credibility rather than nostalgia. Reinvention and second ascent. The shift began quietly in 1989 with Look Who's Talking, a commercial success that restored his reliability. The real transformation arrived in 1994 with Pulp Fiction. The role reintroduced John Travolta as an actor of depth rather than image. He did not return as a symbol of the past, but as someone willing to take risks. The industry responded immediately. The late 1990s became his second peak, filled with films like Get Shorty, Face Off, and A Civil Action. His income stabilized and diversified, allowing smarter financial decisions. Success no longer felt urgent. He moved with control, choosing roles carefully and investing deliberately. By this point, experience had replaced impulse. Fame no longer dictated his pace. He dictated his direction. Inside the Florida Aviation Estate located inside the Jumbo Lair Aviation Estates near Ocala, John Travolta's Florida property is built around a private runway rather than a driveway. Purchased in 2001, the estate sits on roughly 9.5 acres, with the main residence spanning close to 7,000 square feet. 2 aircraft hangars connect directly to a 7,500-foot runway through a private taxiway, allowing aircraft to move seamlessly from sky to home. The architecture favors horizontal balance over height, with clean lines, white exteriors, and expansive glass panels. Inside, aviation influences are intentional rather than decorative, from compass design flooring to curated aircraft models. Large windows frame parked planes like living sculptures. The estate functions as an operational aviation residence, blending comfort, discipline, and movement into a single living environment, vehicles that match his rhythm. On the ground, John Travolta's vehicle choices reflect the same philosophy as his home: comfort, restraint, and control. The Jaguar XJ8L became a favored choice for quiet city travel, offering smooth movement and understated elegance. Purchased in the early 2000s, it served reflective drives rather than spectacle. The Bentley Flying Spur represented another side of his lifestyle, chosen for long-distance comfort and composed authority. Its interior emphasized calm rather than flash, aligning with a mature phase of his life. Neither vehicle was about excess. Both serve function and rhythm. His collection is not large, but intentional, mirroring how he chooses to live. Movement remains important, but noise is unnecessary. These vehicles support routine rather than performance, reinforcing a lifestyle centered on quiet precision. Wealth built through patience. John Travolta's financial story is defined by timing and restraint. After earning modest sums early in his career, his real financial acceleration began after Pulp Fiction. Salaries rose steadily, reaching $20 million per film during his peak years. Across 16 major films, his acting income reached approximately $230 million. Beyond acting, producing credits and long-term image rights added millions more. Instead of rapid consumption, Travolta invested heavily in real estate and aviation assets. Properties in Brentwood, Calabasas, Clearwater, and Florida formed a diversified portfolio. His Florida aviation estate alone is now valued around $10 million. Wealth became a tool rather than a destination, supporting independence and long-term stability. His financial decisions reflect experience earned through both success and restraint, giving purpose to success. Philanthropy became deeply personal after the loss of his son Jet in 2009. Through the Jet Travolta Foundation, he has helped distribute approximately $5 million to support children with special needs. He has also contributed significantly to disaster relief efforts, including donations to the American Red Cross, international earthquake relief, and wildfire recovery programs. These contributions are rarely publicized by him directly. Giving became a way to transform personal pain into action. Rather than symbolic gestures, his philanthropy focuses on direct impact and long-term support. It reflects a shift from public recognition to quiet responsibility. Through these efforts, Travolta reshaped how success functions in his life, turning achievement into service without seeking attention. A life defined by intention. Today, John Travolta lives a quieter life centered on family routine and presence. Since the passing of his wife Kelly Preston in 2020, he has focused on raising his children and maintaining stability. He shares moments sparingly, choosing sincerity over exposure. His days move at a measured pace, shaped by consistency rather than urgency. Travel is selective, work is intentional, home remains central. His Florida estate offers privacy and control, while aviation continues to provide peace and reflection. Fame no longer defines his identity, choice does. His life today reflects clarity earned through decades of movement, loss, success, and restraint. John Travolta no longer chases direction, he lives within it.